challenges are not new in leadership. How and why should we lead and win against all odds?
I love that question. Can you guys hear me okay? Good. First of all, let me back up and say
Yes,
this.
yes.
I was so, I want to say to my sister, forgive me. I didn't even acknowledge you. I was so excited. And I'm like, duh. You have to acknowledge the founder. After all, I pursued her heavily and hunted her down all the way from Ohio. The least I can do is say thank you for this opportunity. But being able to lead against all odds, is so, you talk about impactful and influential. You have to know, what I hear is being able to lead amid adversity, being able to stay the course, being able to stay focused, not to allow situations and circumstances to really become a distraction. And I want to share this because what Sister Layla said was so key in even being able to lead against all odds. I was in nonprofit leadership for over 20 years. And I remember when I came here to Ohio and I took a position, I'm going to be honest, I didn't want it. So you talk about, I'm going to touch on keys that are essential for being able to lead and win against all odds. But the first thing is self perception. Self perception is key. I moved here and I only wanted to do a specific job, and that was to fill a role as a project manager. An opportunity to become an executive director was open, and many people applied, but I didn't because I wasn't interested. I didn't see myself in that position, so I didn't apply. And I was approached by people that I didn't know knew I existed. And they said, "Why aren't you applying for this position?" So, long story short, I applied really to shut them up. I applied to say, okay, I'm going to put in, this application. I'm going to send my resume so that they won't ask me again. And of course, I got a call back. That's how God works, right? I got a call back. And so this was my prayer to God. Lord, you don't want me to have this, right? You don't want me to do this, right? And I didn't wait for an answer because I had a made up mind. My perception was low. I wasn't looking to fulfill that role. I was called. I finally answered the call. I finally did the interview. And my mindset, which is the second thing that I want to talk about, self perception and mindset go hand in hand. My mindset was they're not going to give me the position and it's going to be okay. So just wing it and just have fun with this interview. And I was interviewed by one person, then I was interviewed by the board, then I was taken, throughout the community. I was like, what is happening here? And I said, God, you have jokes. This truly cannot be something for me. And then I was offered the position. And I accepted the position, but this is what started to happen. Trying to fill someone else's shoes. We as women have our own heels. We have our own size. We were not created to try to fill somebody else's shoes. The shoes that I was told to fill was a male, a Caucasian man who did a lot of development. I come from a housing development background, and he did a lot of development throughout the community that I was to serve. And so all that I kept hearing were praises about how well and all the things that he accomplished. So my mindset was this: I didn't want this position. I didn't ask for this position. And I don't think I deserve this position. Now, where I was as a housing project manager, I was doing a phenomenal job and I was comfortable. But one thing that we have to understand is we will never grow to our full potential. We will never reach that greatness if we don't know how to accept the challenge and allow ourselves to be pulled up. So self perception is key, it's everything. I think of the grasshopper, and I think of how the Israelites, when they were, given an opportunity to seize the land, and instead they, had this negative report that they gave back to Moses, and they said, the land has giants. They didn't focus on the good, and they didn't focus on the benefits. They said, the land, they got giants over there. And they see us as grasshoppers, and we see ourselves as grasshoppers. And I saw myself as a grasshopper. And immediately, I began to have that unction in my spirit. It's not about you, first of all. You say you love me and you want to serve me. It's about you growing to the person that I've created you to be. So pull yourself, your feelings, your emotions, Sister Layla, pull those emotions out and allow me to form you into becoming. So, mindset is what you set your mind on. Ladies, I want to encourage you to think about what you're thinking about. Think about what your routines are. Think about your values and you're willing to what you're willing to do to enhance those values, but what you are willing not to do to compromise those values. But I want to encourage you to be thinking about how you can better believe in yourself and allow yourself to grow. We cannot go beyond the limitations that we set for ourselves. Remove the negative thoughts, because I had a lot of, I dealt with so much. Being a female, being black, microaggression, OMG. I had to deal with microaggression. But remembering who I am and reminding myself that it's not about me, it's about legacy, Miss Mary, and those who are coming up behind me. I had to break down barriers. There were other African American, that's who we are over here. There were other African Americans, male and female, who were in executive roles. And unfortunately, they did a lot of mismanagement. So coming up again, the expectation wasn't that great. They were there. I was told by our council person, don't you be like they were. Don't embarrass me. So you talk about overcoming barriers. And I had to learn how to swallow and manage my emotions. Actually, I went home and cried a lot. I'm going to just be honest. I went home, I cried a lot. Or I stayed late at night and I cried at my desk. But then I had to reevaluate the purpose that I've been called to and remind myself it's not about E. And so, against all odds, the expectations were she won't last more than a year at the most. I was in that position as an executive director for 12 years. So, I was able to bust through that particular barrier and was able to leave, knowing that I was doing the development, but making the connections. So it's important that we as leaders, we understand that self-perception matters. It shapes how we move forward. That our mindset is what you set your mind on. I had to relinquish the lack that I thought that I was, that I experienced, that I was about. And what I started to do was build my confidence by getting training and doing whatever I needed to do to prepare myself. That is one of the main reasons why this academy I absolutely love, because it helps you get that mindset that you can dare to lead and have impact. And when you remove yourself out of the way, you'll be amazed at who you really are and what you're really capable of doing. So that's the other thing. And then adversity, because against all odds, the word adversity came up in my spirit, and I said, yeah, adversity has two main roles. It can help propel you to move forward, or it can be a barrier and cause you to actually get distracted because you're so focused on what you're going through, so focused on the situation and circumstance that you will never give or allow yourself permission to go to the level so that others can understand that she was able to move through it. But you can't move through it if you're stuck in it, right? So adversity serves two key roles. It's going to propel you, or it's going to be that barrier and it will hold you back. My word of encouragement for you guys is this: I want you to stay and I want you to stand. I want you to stay focused on who you are and your purpose. You're going to have impact when you do that. You're going to have impact. And I want you to stand. Stand firm in what you believe in. Stand firm in your faith. Stand firm in what you value. Nothing is worth compromising. We've seen it over and over again in leadership throughout the world. You don't have to look far. I'm sure in Nigeria it exists. You've seen leaders who, for $1, they will, or what is your coin? What is your money? They will surrender naira for naira. They will surrender values just to get ahead, just to step over somebody else. But see, these iWOW women, these iWOW leaders, you're not about that. You're above that. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. E. Michelle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow, wow. Okay. Mrs. Udo, please.
Oh wow, Fina, I was enjoying that conversation so much. So when you said Mrs. Udo, please, I'm like, can we have some more? I'm just looking at the chat box, and it's really literally on fire with the Power Women. Just really loving this, pulling and leaning into the lesson, step into your promise. Don't see giants. When Dr. Michelle was talking about, that story about grasshoppers, and somebody talked about the imposter syndrome, which is one of the exercises that, this cohort has done, and all the cohorts. So all the lessons that have been shared, from, Mrs. Mary Pobame, just sharing her own leadership journey around legacy and intentionality of making that decision